us on state committee are not privy to the budget. Only the budget committee is allowed to see how the funds are actually being spent. So it's important that someone who actually understands how the system works inside of the party, I can tell you on good authority, we had no idea because we are not allowed to see it. And that's one of the problems in our party. The entirety of state committee should be allowed to see the budget and how the funds are being spent. So that's one issue. Number two, we had a state committee meeting back in December, and we were never told about the problem, and the party should have, one, managed the funds better. Number two, if they were in this situation, why didn't they tell us back in December that way the delegates could have had meaningful time to discuss and let their state committee members know how they want to vote? And then also people could have had an opportunity to actually do something about it and save the necessary funds, because there will be many delegates, especially grassroots delegates, who will be disenfranchised by this last minute fee. When it comes to raising funds, our fundraising plan, if you visit our website, we have multiple ways we want to raise funds. One of the core ways our team will be raising money is by reaching out to our small business community. There are over 500,000 Republican-owned or Republican-leaning small business owners in the state of Michigan. And those people face the abuse of the government more than anyone. So we have to reach out to our big donors. And one of the challenges we've had as a state is that our party has relied on a handful of people, and then you're required to do their bidding in order to get their funds. And so we just simply wind up destroying the country slower than Democrats. How many times are we tired of hearing Republicans are acting like cowards? How many times have we heard that? Well, why is that happening? Because the people funding their campaigns are telling them how to act. So that's a fun.
All right, let's leave it there, guys. Welcome to the Rescue Michigan live stream, folks. Sorry it's a little early today, but there is a Super Bowl happening later, and I don't know if it's wise for us to try to compete with that. I think last year I actually did. It didn't work out okay, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any horse in the race there. I'm just hoping that Taylor Swift has a bad night. Personally, welcome everyone to the Rescue Michigan live stream, and today we are going to go through some financial records. And apologies to those of you on Facebook who I guess missed part of the intro video there, but that's okay. So that's what we're going to do today. Let me start by setting the table here, and I'll show you. I mentioned this in the email I sent today with what kind of got me to really want to go through this, and that is this document that is being distributed somewhere, I believe in the 2nd district. Let me make this full screen and go bigger here. This is something that was circulating on the telegrams, and here, I'll make it bigger. Can I go up and down here? Let's have to do it this way. Let's see here. Okay, well, now you can kind of see it. So you got the photo from the LARP session they had on the 13th over there. And this is the heading. It's not Karamo versus Hoekstra. It's grassroots versus establishment. I would say it's not that either. It's truth versus lies. Well, it is that. But let's look at what they say here. This is, by the way, just taking a step back and looking at this thing from a top level perspective here. This just kind of screams nutso. You got this column here, lie and then truth. And let's go through these. But before we do that, this is there are things to consider when discerning the truth, which does not include anywhere in it the actual verifiable facts of a situation. Wonder why that would be. Which side is the media on? Well, I understand what they're trying to get at here. The mentality they're trying to ingrain into delegates is media bad, therefore Kristina good. That's the one-dimensional thinking that they're looking for in their cult members. So media says what? So if media reports anything, it must be false automatically. Now, of course, the media editorializes heavily, and some media sources lie completely. Sometimes it's situational, but there are sometimes verifiable documents like FEC filings, Secretary of State financial filings, things of that nature, things that you can actually look up, and things that are actually kind of hard for the media to lie about. But yeah, that's the way that goes. Real quick, let me read some chats here. Jay Michaud on Facebook says, I can't keep up with all these Rescue Michigan live streams. Like, neither can I, Jay. And by the way, we're not going to have very many more for a bit. These things are important to go over because the conventions are coming up this coming Thursday. After that, believe me, we are cutting back, and we are cutting way back on the Kristina Karamo stuff. After the county conventions, the full weight of the Trump campaign is going to come in on and sort out the state convention stuff. And frankly, I wish they were here earlier. They have kind of left us to do the work of exposing this Kristina Karamo cult, but we're going to do the best we can in the time that we have. Nancy J says, please address the Kalamazoo Precinct 1st delegates left pro se. Karamo and Hartman attorneys bailed on them. Well, I don't know that they exactly bailed on them, Nancy, although it is funny. We haven't seen Dan Hartman in that case lately. But one thing that people need to understand when you have a lawsuit is that when it's a lawsuit against multiple parties, sometimes those parties don't have perfectly confluent interests. Sometimes one party will want to say, they'll want to throw the other party under the bus, the other defendants, So sometimes you can't have an attorney that represents multiple different defendants, which Hartman is kind of trying to get around by just having these people sign these documents. By the way, Louise Cordier on YouTube says, how do I get into the chat online? You are. We see your chats, Louise. We just didn't get to read them yet. But this is, I assume, in reference to that you've gotten this actual this flyer, this thing here. So I guess they are going around. But there you go. Folks, we are seeing the chats on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And actually, I forgot to get on Rumble. Let me get on Rumble right now so I can see if anyone's chatting in the Rumble stream as well. Let's see here. Yeah, Patricia126 says, thanks for all your work. You're welcome, Patricia. Anyway, let's get back to this document here. Sincerity is no indicator of truth. Well, that's true. But also doesn't mean anything. I don't know what the point is there. Yes, I see at least one person, I won't name her, in this photo, who I know is a good, decent person who has been induced to commit an act of evil at this particular event where she was photographed, in which she voted to expel members of the state committee who she had never met, who were not there, who did not speak in defense of themselves, who had no opportunity to, on charges that they were completely frivolous and meritless. And she voted to expel them from the state committee. But she's a good person. She was a good person induced to do an act of evil at that event, because that's what these people do. They turn good people, into evildoers. But they mean well. But that doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean they're speaking the truth. The delegates, this is what does this have to do with things to consider when discerning the truth? The delegates, not the RNC or Trump, decided the chairs. Notice, please, Trump, not President Trump, not the rightful president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Trump. That's the disrespect they have for him. Why? Because they don't like what he did. Because he supports Hoekstra. He acknowledged Hoekstra as the chair. Hey, Stephanie says, so excited to listen to an ARM podcast in real time. Hi, all. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Or hear from you. The delegates on the RNC or Trump decided, and this is also, by the way, completely untrue. Like, the state delegates in February decided who their chair was. And then after that, the state committee members, following their bylaws, voted to remove her. So, actually, the delegates, by the way, no clarification, not precinct delegates, not state delegates, the delegates, whoever they are. But that's the scheme. It's, we're going to pander to the precinct delegates who come to county convention. We're on your side, guys. We're all the same. You're part of us. Is establishment Peter Hoekstra really on the grassroots side? Well, that's an interesting question. How does that help you discern the truth? And also, by the way, I think he's on the side of, I want to win. Let me ask you folks, what do you think Pete Hoekstra has to gain from being the state chair? Because it seems to me like it's a lot of work. I personally don't like making phone calls to raise money. I find it displeasurable. So why is Pete Hoekstra stepping up to be the chair? Maybe it's because people's hearts have been broken seeing what has happened to the Republican Party, seeing it being overthrown by a bunch of crazy people. Anyway, Jason Mickelborg says, and the ones they can't turn, they vote you off committees on bullshit charges and ban you from the chats, all while insisting delegates' voices matter. Yep, they are hypocrites. Michelle Jurgensen says the second district committee does not consent to this event. As an executive committee member, I was never invited to represent my views about the truth. Right, that's the idea. This is the games they play. This is what they're trying to do to turn precinct delegates against the committee members. Kelly says, I'm happy you guys are going live before a football game. Yeah, we thought it might be a problem. So that's why we tuned in early today. Anyway, Pete Hoekstra and crew only called for unity after falsely claiming the chair. This is not anything to do with how to discern the truth. Again, this is just a bald assertion. And he didn't falsely claim the chair. He claimed the chair properly. He did it in a proper manner. They had a legal meeting. That's what the RNC has determined. That's what Donald Trump has determined. And by the way, who says he didn't call for unity in the past? Let me see if I have a clip. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I think this is it. Hold on. Let me see if this is the right clip here. What's going on here? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up.
The only time.
Yeah, hold on. I need you guys to tell me if you can hear this or not. Hold on one sec. I got to make it louder. Let me know if you hear this.
Hey everybody, it's Kristina Karamo, and welcome to It's Solid Food. Unity.
Did you hear that? Can you guys hear this? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. If not, I'll have to figure something out to make it able to be heard. Let's see. People in the chat aren't telling me. Did you guys hear Kristina Karamo just then? You did? Okay. All right. I'm going to play it. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Kristina
Let me skip ahead a little
and
bit.
welcome to It's Solid Food. Unity. We hear so much talk about unity and how we need to achieve and strive for unity. The calls for unity in America, to me, are really silly and kind of stupid, and they're very naive.
There you go. There's Kristina Karamo's opinion on unity, folks. Did you? Oh, wait. You know what? Hold on. Did my taking the screen away make that not work anymore? I'm sorry, folks. You need to tell me again if you could hear that whole thing where Kristina just said unity is BS. I'm gonna play it one more time.
Unity. We hear so much talk about unity and how we need to achieve and strive for unity. The calls for unity in America, to me, are really silly and kind of stupid, and they're very naive.
Okay, you hear the whole thing KK said. All right, very good. Yeah, so that's Kristina Karamo's attitude about unity. There you go. Anyway, so that's their unity for you. Now let me get back to what I was looking at here. This piece. Ottawa County on the cutting edge of ousting the establishment with God-fearing candidates. Same with Kristina Karamo. Yeah, whatever. We've been through that kind of stuff before. All right, now they have these different. By the way, this was like from 2021. That was a very old clip because Michelle says Mike Labadie must not have written that. It doesn't sound very intelligent. Yeah, that was that's going back a ways. Although Labadie was already connected to her by then. So they say lie. Kristina Karamo illicitly paid Joe Moss for his endorsement. This is a piece that's targeting the 2nd District. I think Joe Moss is from Ottawa County because his company, For Liberty, was paid to set up new IT infrastructure for MyGop. Well, first of all, I don't know anyone that's actually alleged that the payment was illicit, but nevertheless, yeah, he endorsed Kristina and she gave him a contract, which is kind of what happens all the time. You know, I mean, when a political consultant's candidate for state chair gets elected, they tend to get they tend to become their client. That's kind of the way that works, which is the thing. The very same, the hypocrisy is the issue here. This is the very thing Kristina's ranted about for the last year. Next, quote unquote, lie. Karamo made payments without budget committee approval. The truth is initial spending was necessary before the budget committee was formed. So they did. So she did. So that's not a lie then. Lie. Karamo is a puppet of Mike Labadie. Answer. there is no evidence. Well, we did a whole 2-hour stream about that recently, so we're not going to retread that turf again. And then the next, I think, 4 things in a row. Karamo has failed to raise money. Karamo turned away the big donors. Karamo's engaging in a frivolous lawsuit that puts committee members at financial risk. Karamo's made the GOP go bankrupt. By the way, this is actually a very basic political error that campaigns shouldn't make, which is restating allegations, repeating allegations against you, repeating attacks, because what happens is people that didn't hear them before now are hearing them for the first time. And what does this sound like to you? Like, imagine you hear a candidate get up and he says, "Listen, they're calling me a child molester. I'm telling you, I'm not a child molester." What's your first thought? Why are they saying that? What is it you don't want us to know about? So all of these attacks are just being repeated. Great job, guys. That's brilliant. But these 4 in a row are all about financial issues. So it seems like they're a little bit sensitive to this problem. Hence, here we are today talking about the financial issues. By the way, this one here, we've been over this before, but this, Karamo is not suing for damages, they say. Therefore, there's no financial risk for state committee members. Any attorneys want to weigh in on that one? Oh yeah, I've entered into a lawsuit, but because I'm not suing for financial damages, there's no chance it's going to cost us a dime. Yeah, right. I mean, this is just, this stuff is on its face retarded. And then, of course, the last one, starting in Kalamazoo, Karamo was trying to take power away from the delegates. By the way, that reminds me, I didn't quite finish answering Nancy J's first question about what happened with the Kalamazoo precinct first delegates. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to ever see Hartman back in that courtroom again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe that other weird guy. But hey, those other defendants, they're the ones that tried to pose as the Kalamazoo GOP, and now they're getting sued. And, you know, Karamo, well, I guess you could argue that they put him in this hot water by having that stupid motion at the September or the January 13th meeting. But still. Oh, well, too bad. So sad. Left of center Michigan says, go look at the campaign finance for Michigan Impact Fund. Joe Moss is the treasurer, and literally every expenditure is directly to Joe Moss's own company, For Liberty LLC. Well, we are going to look at the state party's filings today. I don't know if we're going to have time for that, but there you go, folks. You can look that up too. For those who don't know, we will look up all this stuff. We will show you how we find it. Some of you might not know how to do that. And so I think that's an important thing. We are going to go through these filings. Now, I have already been through these filings, but I want to show my work. So we are going to manually go through them. And this might at some point be tedious because it's going to involve some copying and pasting. But as I say, I want to show my work because people are going to accuse me of fabricating this stuff. And I'm going to show you exactly how I arrive at the numbers that I do. Jason says Tuesday is going to be a Butte in Kalamazoo. You should stream that one if you can. I will stream that one if I can. That's probably going to be the last stream we do before the county conventions on Thursday. So here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to go to fec.gov. And actually, you can search FEC for just Michigan Republican Party, but there is the committee's ID number, C000411160. That gets you to the Michigan Republican Party's general FEC page. Now, here is the overall FEC summary here. So you see, this is from January 1st of this year to December 31st of this year. So that includes a period when Juan Reiser was still chair. Receipts of $942,000. Spent $2.6 million. Ooh. But, and that's bad by itself. So the starting cash on hand was $1.9 million. Ending cash on hand was $246,000. But this was a lot of this was paying off a loan. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at money in versus money out during Karamo's reign. So we see there is a few minor things here and there. The big dollars, though, are going to be the individual contributions, $451,000. There's also other committee contributions. We look at these, and these are people that have paid in. But this is, well, let's see who we have here. We have, this might be worth going through because there is some money in here. The committee to elect Dare Rendon, recipient Michigan Republican Party. This is so weird, guys. I've never seen county parties paying state parties this much money. Gun Owners of America, Inc. Wow. But that's it. Okay, so here we go. That's actually not a whole lot of money. This is only showing $8,000. Why these county parties are paying the state party money is weird. Well, Dare Rendon. For those who don't know, Dare Rendon is one of KK's people on the state committee, and I believe she was just somehow elevated to something after they had their meeting on the 13th. So that's not $129,000. But here we have the itemized individual contributions, and this is, well, it's a lot. And you can see here viewing 1,700 results. Okay. And there's a lot of different numbers here, but we're going to use download the whole thing. They make it easy. You click on export, and it's going to here. Let me remove this because these are the ones I've already downloaded. I'll click export here. It's preparing my download. This will take just a second. Kelly Powell says Gun Owners Inc. Yeah, Gun Owners of America. I'm a little surprised by that. I'd be asking Larry Pratt what the heck he's doing, giving Karamo his money. But maybe there was some event, something that they wanted to sponsor. Maybe they had a booth at the Mackinac conference, something like that, possibly. That might explain it. Anyway, let's download this file. And hold on, let me just find a proper folder for it here. And save and open. And here we go. And there's a lot of columns in this. Oh, that's it. That's it. So after they illicitly removed Sue Aller's chair of the first district, they made Dare Rendon chair. Dare Rendon, another person off the deep end. She was a state representative. Her office used to be, her husband's office, Bruce Rendon's, used to be directly above mine when I worked for Gary Glenn in the state house. Anyway, so now we have all these numbers here. Now, there's a lot of columns that are extraneous, but what we're going to do is first, let's do the sorting by the date. Here's the column AI contribution receipt date. And we do a select all, data sort. We're going to sort by column AI and hit OK. And now we have it sorted by date. And now the next thing to do is remove the contributions that came in before Ron Weiser was chair, or I'm sorry, while Ron Weiser was still chair. So we will, I believe it was on February 18th that she became chair. So here we go. I'm sorry, February, 18th is right. That's right, February 18th. So let's just delete these rows. Boom. And now we can kind of just flip through this. You can see these are the federal campaign account dollars, and you got all these different people here. There's their names. And this Arlington address, that's just WinRed taking, I don't know why they're listed as contributions because they come out as payment and processor fees anyway, but they have those. But then there's, actual people here, and there's their names and all that. This is public record. I'm not doxing anybody, guys. You can find this online yourself too. Doing the exact same thing I did. Now, the next thing we'll do is look at the amounts. And let's see here. Contribution amount. Okay, now we'll just select all the values in that column. Scroll down. Kaboom. Sum. And there you go. $319,386. That is the income in the federal account for Kristina Karamo in the past year that she was in office. By the way, there's a federal account, there's a state account, and there's an administrative account. The administrative account numbers are secret. We can't see those. However, they can't be spent winning elections, so they don't really matter much. The money that's in these accounts is the money that really matters. The administrative account, that can go for paying for a convention, maybe paying for a lot of the things we're going to see in a moment here, the federal account. But make note, folks, $319,000 is the federal account's money in. Okay. Now let's go back and let's look at money out. Disbursements. Now, the transfers to affiliate committees, that is paying down to the state committee. So that's not really a loss of money. That is a shuffling of money. In this case, money that gets pushed back to Comerica Bank. We'll come back to that in a moment. But let's see what they spent here. And you see there's a little bit in allocated operating expenditures, federal share, non-federal share, and other being the big one. Let's see what's in here. And you've got computer support, Paul Cordes. These are looks like these are all pre-Kristina. Everything here is pre-Kristina. Let's see if there's any others that are not. 2022. Okay, so these are all pre-Kristina. They do not count. Oops, I went too far. Now we have non-federal share operating expenses, and let's look at the date. Can I just sort by the date? I can. This is all pre-Kristina too. So for whatever reason, they seem to have put all of the money they spent into this other section. Okay, well, let's export this. Let's see what we have here in disbursements. Export. And it's generating it right now. Okie doke. Download. And here we go. Let's download it. Let's open it. And here we are. And now we might want to actually see how some of these things have been spent. But once again, let's sort by the dates and let's remove things that were done pre-Kristina. So that's going to be column V, data sort, column V. And it looks like it'll be down through here. We'll delete these rows. And now we have their disbursements. And here we have all these things that probably did not need to be spent by federal dollars. Airfare for staff, fuel, hotels, meeting, food and beverage, hotels, food, gas, salaries, event, venue, rental, and deposit. This has to be for the Mackinac Conference. Gas, meetings, food, parking, office supplies, lodging, hotels, meals, parking, office supplies, payroll, salaries, payroll. And let's The Boring Life says, have you looked into Dan Hartman's ties to China? I'm not aware of those, but let me know if you know what that's about. And anyway, let's total this all up. Let's see how much money was spent here. And sum. $345,000. Well, that's, let's see. Let's do my math here. Let's get the exact number right. 345, 167.49 minus, what was that other number again? Minus 319, 386.62. That is a negative $25,780.87. Now, that's just the federal account. Let's look now at the state account because, you know, actually, usually that's where the money really goes, because if you look at the federal account, you can, by the way, folks, you can also go, you can change this. You can go and change these coverage dates here. Like, let's say I don't look at that too. How about, let's see how Ron Weiser did. And you look at the contributions. You can click on this, and there's $1.5 million in contributions. That's going to be mostly from 2022, and that's an election year, you would think. But one thing you'll notice, though, if you just sort by amount, is the amounts are never more than $10,000. Why would that be? Because that's their finance limit. However, the state account does not have that limit. So if you go to cfrsearch.nictusa.com, that is where you can find all of the Michigan campaign finance filings. And there's actually a nice handy state party option right here. And you actually can put in Republican there, but just to see how many state parties there are, it's kind of amazing if you look at it. There are kind of a lot of state parties, but 17 of them. But the Michigan Republican Party, that's the one we want. And we could, there's a gamer party. That's interesting. It's taking a moment to load, but we'll see. Taking a long time here. Taking a long time. So you guys rooting for the Super Bowl, huh? It says it's cogitating, so it is going. It is going. I don't know what's taking it so long. It doesn't usually take this long. Here we go. All right. So got a nice failure to file notice. Let's look at that just for giggles. This is to Jennifer Standerfer. Notice a failure to file. Your immediate attention is required as late filing fees are accruing. You have not filed the finance report as required under the Campaign Finance Act, which is due on January 31st. If a required filing is not received within 9 business days of this due date, the law requires the matter be referred to the Attorney General. Hurry up, hurry up. Luckily, they did eventually file it, and too bad the donors will have to pay that late fee. Or perhaps the future party under Pete Hoekstra will have to pay that late fee, but there you go. And here's their annual statement. Annual statements. And here again, it's weird they don't really have a summary page for these. I don't know why the party doesn't have to have those. The campaigns always do. The regular candidate campaigns always have summary pages that are nice and easy to read, but we have contributions. And here they are. And you see here is that amount that came in from the federal government's, from the federal account that is going to be sent away. You see the date there, February 18th. That is Ron Weiser getting this debt paid before Kristina doesn't have it paid. That's paying off the line of credit, or at least a lot of it. But anyway, we now have to actually do some copying and pasting work, folks. And I know this sounds tedious, but like I said, I want to show my work. I want you to see for yourself that I am not cooking the books or the numbers or anything like that. So I'm just going to start pasting these things in. It won't take too long. I just need to do it. There's only 5 pages. If I could make it do more per page, I would, but I can't. So I just have to copy and paste. But it's not too bad. Kelly Powell says Jake Moody will win the Super Bowl, Michigan. There you go. Folks in chat, this is a good time to leave comments as I'm doing this. This won't take very long, but give me something to read while I copy and paste. Here we go. This is page 3. This is not a lot of money. See, in the Ron Weiser period, this is the account where you'd see like $400,000 donations because this account is allowed to receive those. And this is the last page. So here we go. This is all of the rest of these donations. And copy and paste them in. And now, once again, we need to eliminate the ones that were pre-Kristina. So we'll do data sort by column H. And go to the top. And we shall delete down through February 18th, 2023. And now there's also these accounts that just say MRP federal account. And this is, again, this is all money pulled out of the federal account. So this is not income. This is not money that Kristina Karamo raised. So we are going to now sort by column E, the received from. We're going to get rid of these MRP federal accounts because, again, this is not income. This is just transfers. Delete the rows. And here we go. Let's see. Amount. We will now, let me sort by the column just to get all the text out of the column. Sort by column I. And go to the bottom, delete these. Go to the top. Back down to the bottom. And give me a sum. $19,681, folks. So that's some money in the bank. $19,681. So that is in the red, $6,100 in a whole year almost. Left of Center asks, do you support Josh Shriver's bold political strategy of espousing the Great Replacement theory on Twitter? You mean the Great Replacement theory that Democrats across the board announced constantly all the time? Like Senator Ted Kennedy himself announcing it? That Great Replacement theory? Yeah, I actually do think it is important that people call attention to the fact that that's the reason why the border is open, is because the Democrats have made a calculation that it will benefit themselves politically. Yeah, I think that's an important thing to say. Anyway, where was I? Oh, that's right. There's also, however, there's contributions, but there's also expenditures. Let's look at these. By the way, these others, they're very, very small numbers here. So again, we're not going to count the pay down loan because we saw that come out of the federal account. And it was also on the 17th. So this was pre-Karamo. This was Ron Weiser clearing the decks. But we do have some expenditures here. Let's see. Are any of these pre-Karamo? Yeah. Well, there's MRP Corp. Oh, this is transfers. Legal for email. These are, okay, well, there's rents. Okay, there's rent. Okay. There's some valid expenditures in here, so let's go through them. Copy them out. Got a new list going here. Wait, what? Where's the oh, here's the, I see. Just say support or oppose. Whatever. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again. We are going to sort by column E. And we'll eliminate the pre-Kristina stuff. Delete the rows. And let's just see what is fair and not fair to charge for. Okay, hotels. Looks like another hotel. Some reimbursement to Cheryl Constantino. Here, let me make this a little easier to read here. Okay. Photographer, rent, another reimbursement, rental commission. Don't know what that means. MailChimp, another meeting, more rent. Okay, yeah, these are all valid expenses. Okay, MRP corporate. Let's delete these. These are transfers. Got any more transfers? Yes, we do. Any more transfers? Oh, okay. How much is this? Sum $33,887.08. 33,887.08. Again, folks, tons of this stuff could be paid from the administrative account. So the question is, why wasn't it? Because you might say, well, there could be $1 million in the administrative account. Well, first of all, then why aren't they paying for these things out of the administrative account? Either there's no money in it, or they're looting that separately too. So there you go. In the entire tenure from the day she was elected until December 31st, 2023, the Michigan Republican Party has lost just under $40,000. There you go, folks. And I showed my work. So there it is. So the next time they tell you the state party is not broke, methinks they doth protesteth too much, because the numbers are there. They're in public. And the reason why they're saying, how do you know what the truth is because they don't want you looking it up, because it's there to see, plain as day. Barry Altman says, let me go back to, let me check. I might have missed some chats on Rumble. Hold on. I'm sorry, folks, on Rumble. Where's my Rumble window? Rumble, where have you gone? I'm sorry, Rumble, folks. I can't even find the Rumble window right now. Barry Altman says, Matt Saperna warned me early on about KK. I was trying to be a loyal friend to her and stayed Team KK. She proved Matt right. I confess my error. Matt was right. There you go. Rob Nemowitz says, these is it machinations or machinations? I never really know. Could make a body feel somewhat naive and gullible, eh? Kelly Powell says, that's a full-time door knocker. It's a negative full-time door knocker is what it is. Yeah, one full-time door knocker. So there you go, folks. All right, I will make one more good attempt to find my Rumble window. I see it. Okay, it just says people say sounds good. I see some. There's no other comments to really read out loud on Rumble there. So there you go, folks. That is the proof positive that the state party has been utterly broken by Kristina Karamo. It's right there. And to people that say, well, it's not her fault because the donors left. Remember, let me go back to this one remark that they made here. Let's look at this one more time. Karamo, the lie they say is Karamo turned away the big donors. The truth is that Kristina cannot be bought. The fact that big money with strings attached went elsewhere says it all. It's actually illegal to attach strings to a contribution. Now, you might say, well, I'm not going to give you money unless you promise me yada. Well, but if they break the promise, it's not enforceable. But also, I don't buy this. I don't think anybody came to Karamo to write big checks because they trusted her. I don't think that's how that worked at all. Also, the lie, they say Kristina Karamo has failed to raise money. Well, technically, she raised some, just she spent more than she raised. And the truth, they say, grassroots donations to the Karamo administration outpaced previous administrations. Large donors took their donations elsewhere. That they did. But let's examine this question. Grassroots donations outpaced previous administrations. I'm not sure that's true. Oh, Louise on YouTube says, what's that $600,000 in debt she claims? That's right. We didn't look at the debts. Let's look at the debts. Thank you, Louise. We will go look at the debts. Prima Facie says, greetings from Australia. Australia. I love your passion. I've been watching for a few months on and off. Thank you. It's great to know we have fans in Australia that care about little old Michigan. I figured I'm running a very poorly operated channel because it has zero national interest. It's all Michigan stuff, but it's great to know we got folks overseas even watching this channel. Thank you. Let's look at some debts, because those are here too. Michelle says, who would ever want to give money when you could never see where your money was being spent? Well, I mean, political campaigns do it. When you give a campaign your money, you're trusting them to spend it the way they will, and do it in a way that. And I've never heard of a campaign whose policy was not no refunds. And if they spend their money wisely or unwisely, you can't ask for it back. Jason Mickelborg says professional infiltration or complete incompetence. I think from Labadie, professional infiltration. Kristina, complete incompetence. And Iwan says, will you talk about Thursday's meeting and what we hope to accomplish? Yes. Yes, we will. Anyway, let's go back and look at debts and obligations. Let's see what these add up to. Now, these might be, some of these are from 2021. So it's a little hard to say whether or not these have been paid off, because we did see some money going out from the federal accounts into paying down debts. But according to this report that they filed, which is certainly subject to errors, but we see what they have here, 23 debts. Debt number one, $125,000 to Comerica Bank. Another one for, let's get out that old calculator again. 40 grand in the hole. And possibly also $125,000, $50,000. Oops. Plus $50,000 plus $100,000 plus $150,000 plus $50,000 plus $300,000 plus $70,000 plus $90,000 plus $110,000 plus $35,296.84 to lawyers in Washington, D.C. I think this is all pre-Wiser stuff. $53,585 plus $36,011.25 plus $34,630 plus, that's only debt number 14, plus $43,380 plus $27,147.50 plus 2326.75 plus $100,000 again plus $200,000 plus $500,000 plus $300,000 plus $75,000 plus $100,000. $2.6 million. I think, what was that amount we saw on the loan payments again? I think it was like a 1.9 million, which comes right kind of smack into that $700,000 of debt, because here we have under the direct contributions. Yeah, there's the 1.969 million. So assuming that was used to pay down those loans and that they just didn't report them properly, there's roughly that $600,000 that the media's been saying is what the debt is still owed. This is the loan that Comerica is foreclosing on. And of course, this, by the way, I didn't see any debt to Jim Kopas's wife. It was a trust account, I know, but I don't recall seeing that there. Where's that $110,000 of debt? Maybe that was in the expenditure somewhere. Maybe they repaid that. I don't know. Maybe Jim Kopas got his money back. There you go. There's also, by the way, but I think it's duplicative. I think the FEC page also has debts. Let's see here. No, they don't. Okay, never mind. They're not showing debts on this. Wait, maybe. Oh, debts, loans owned by the committee, $184,000. What's this? Targeted Victory, looks like they got their money back from Ron Weiser. This all looks like pre-Karamo stuff. Yeah, this is all pre-Karamo, so it doesn't count. Oh, wait. 1 to 30 of 443 entries. Well, let's just take a look at this, shall I? Oh, coverage end date. Okay. Yeah, these are all pre-Karamo. Okay, so those don't count. Left of Centers asks, can you clarify the $2 million transfer from the federal state account was done by Weiser or Kristina? What was the purpose of that move? I believe that was done by Weiser to prevent Kristina from stealing the money. I think is what that was about. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened is Weiser wanted that debt paid back before Kristina Karamo failed to and left that outstanding, which is what would have happened, I'm sure. All right. So with all of that, let's just close on this thought, folks. Thursday's meeting are county conventions. There's 85 of them around the state, 1 in each county except for 3 in Wayne County, which is done by congressional district. If you are a precinct delegate, you have standing to vote in those conventions. If you are not, you do not. However, these conventions elect delegates to district conventions, which will be held in Detroit on Saturday, March 2nd. At those conventions, they are going to elect their Republican National Committee man and National Committee woman. They are going to cast votes for their presidential preference. It's going to be Trump. And they're going to elect delegates to the national convention that is held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Additionally, Karamo supporters, as we've covered in previous videos, intend, if they have the votes, to A, reinstate Kristina Karamo as chair, B, expel everyone that voted to remove her as chair, C, pass a resolution to cancel Republican Party primaries in future elections, which is retarded, but that's what they're trying to do, and D, rewrite the state party bylaws to give themselves total control and perpetuity of the party, including having the ability to fire any members of county committees, which is all completely illegal, but that's what they want to do, which is insane and will be extremely devastating to the campaigns. I mean, Trump's in general, but also everybody's. It will become an absolute shit show because what the Karamo people want to do is destroy the Republican Party forever. Louise Cordier says they can't add new business to the convention, can they? The call is clearly stated. That's true. However, these people don't follow rules. You guys don't understand. You guys have to think like a Marxist. The law doesn't mean anything. The rules don't mean anything. Our agenda is the only thing that matters. And if we can push it through, we will. Rules be damned. Maybe we'll get sorted out in courts a year from now. It's a little too late by then. So here's the problem. People with ethics we tend to assume there's ethics in other people where they don't exist. And certain people have an ends justify the means mentality. And about 4% of the population are actual sociopaths. They literally do not feel any consciousness at all, any conscience at all. So if they have the numbers, they will do this. Now, I think after the county conventions, the Trump campaign is going to come in hard and straighten out a lot of people. But the idea at the county conventions on Thursday is do everything you can not to vote for these people to get to the district convention. If you know who they are, and they will make it pretty clear, I think, who they are. And if not, by the way, here's the thing you guys can do. Call your precinct delegates in your county. If you don't have a list, ask around. If you still can't find one, go to your county clerk's office. They have lists of who the precinct delegates are. And depending on the county, most counties publish their email addresses. In fact, miprecinctfirst.com, which is hilarious because it's one of the, this is actually, hold on, let me go to this. This is actually one of the organizations that recruited the precinct delegates to overthrow the state party. And they've actually published the lists of all the precinct delegates. So you click on any given county, you go to GOP precinct delegates, and there's their emails. You have these for almost every county in the state. They don't have phone numbers, but you know, there's a thing called a phone book. There are ways to find their phone numbers. They might be on their precinct delegate filing forms. The county clerk might have those available if you go to the clerk's office and ask for a copy of the precinct delegates for the GOP. Talk to these people. Figure out where they are. And if they're supporting Kristina Karamo, for God's sake, do not vote for them to go to state convention. Vote for anybody else. Also, by the way, there is typically some process by which you can apply to go to state convention, even if you're not a precinct delegate. And if you don't know how your county party is doing it, get to your county convention early. They usually have some kind of process where you can register to be signed up as a delegate to go to state convention now, or the district convention, I mean. Now, automatically precinct delegates get preference over non-precinct delegates, but that preference does not apply to alternates. So you might get to go as a first alternate or something like that. That's a long shot, but it's possible. Either way, if this is new to you, go to your county conventions, folks, and become a precinct delegate in the upcoming cycle, because these people have to be replaced. The ones that voted for Kristina Karamo and still support her to this day. Patty P says there is no process other than hardworking Republicans. Well, the hardworking Republicans, for those who don't know, the hardworking Republican rule is something that county conventions can choose to do, but don't have to do, which is to treat up to 4 non-precinct delegates as precinct delegates. The body has to approve doing that. It is also a long shot. However, you can still, even if you're not a precinct delegate, you can't vote at the county convention. And you don't get preference over precinct delegates to become a district delegate, but you can still get the votes to become an alternate. So that is possible. Question mark exclamation point says left of center MI is an Ottawa County leftist, folks. Well, I mean, I could tell by the name left of center it was a leftist. That's okay. I'll still answer questions. To know if he or she's from Ottawa County. Couldn't care. Doesn't matter. At these places, for some reason, they don't include many of our emails at MIPF. Well, hey, you know what? Our people are not the problem. Patty says, no, you cannot be an alternate either. That's not the way it works in our county. I don't know. The rules might be different. Let's look. Hold on. We have convention rules. I'll pull it up. Hold on. Let me find it here. Dun, 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 dun. Research. Convention rules. Here we go. Let's see. Let's start with section 5 here and see here. Patty says this. Patty, if you know what page this is on, let me know because I'm looking for it. I don't think that's correct, but let me know if you can cite to a page on this. Louise Cordier says, so far only about 28 shares show up, but they're soliciting more. I've been tarred as an anti-Kristina. Well, wear that as a badge of honor. I don't know what you mean about 28 shares showing up. I don't know what that's involved with. Let's see here. Okay. This is it here, I think. In order to recognize the importance of precinct delegates, a precinct delegate duly elected at the August 2nd, 2022 primary election shall be given preference over a non-precinct delegate to be elected as a delegate or alternate to the district convention. Between two or more such precinct delegates, no preference shall be given. So it sounds like that is correct, that that non-PDs don't get preference or get delegates that get, let me say this again. Precinct delegates get preference over non-delegates, even as alternates. That's how I read that. They're given preference. Doesn't mean they can't go at all. And then for the hardworking Republican rule, let's look that up. Is this thing even searchable? I don't think it is. No, it's not. This document's not searchable. There you go. Louise Cordier says, read the above comments. Oh, that must mean in reference to. Okay, let's see this. The chairs holding biweekly conventions to go over the conventions. They're called by KK supporters. I'm in on them. And we'll see if they start talking about adding in the new business. Oh, interesting. So the KK chairs, I see. So only about 28 chairs show up, but they're soliciting more. There you go. Oh, I see. Now that makes sense. So the KK county chairs are organizing. Well, that makes sense. Left of center MI says, people can slam me for being a left-leaning moderate, but a smarter politician would extend a hand to me. Independents are critical in MI elections. I agree that independents are critical in MI elections. However, left of center, I'm slightly dubious that with your name and icon saying left of center, that you're as moderate and prone to crossing over as you are claiming here. I mean, you did just throw out that question about Josh Shriver and the replacement theory that the Democrats invented, the theory they practice constantly for years and years. So here's what it is. Patty says, anyone elevated at the end of the county convention, if you choose to do elevations, is not eligible to go. Right. That is, not that they're not eligible, but they don't get the preference as precinct delegates. You don't get to vote because, as it says on page 6 here, this is the important line. In no event shall a precinct delegate vacancy be filled, either on a permanent or temporary basis, until after all voting for district convention delegates or alternates is completely finished. What that means is you can't show up as a non-PD to the county convention and get elevated to become a precinct delegate and then start voting on motions and voting for people to go to district convention. That's what that means. So you can become a precinct delegate at the very, very end of the county convention, which would be pointless because the term ends at the end of the as of the primary election coming up. So just file to become a precinct delegate for the upcoming term. So there you go. So yeah, William Gordon says, only if the alternate list is full can alternates not go. Patty P says, talk to Matt. We just had this discussion today. Okay, well, he can call me too. But I just read the rules just now, like right here. So right here. First whole paragraph on page 8. It's right there in black and white. All right, guys. That will do it for us for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the Super Bowl. From here out, it's all about convention organization, getting to the precinct delegates, educating them, and getting them to vote for the right people to go to the district convention, not the KK cult. That is the key. Patty says, I know we read the same rules and don't agree with what you said. Well, then, your county convention is going to come down to what the chair and the parliamentarians say, I guess. So, on Rumble, Haftcast says, so your premise is that KK ran and did this all to steal money? No, I think she ran because she thought she might actually be successful. But I think at the end of the day, they have nothing else to do, so they just took all the money they could because that's all they could do. Lester Center says, thanks for the great stream and thanks for your diligence. You are welcome, buddy. All right, folks, that's it for tonight. Thanks for all you do for liberty. If at all possible, I will stream the Kalamazoo hearing on Tuesday. Other than that, this will be it until after the convention, so we'll have to regroup after that and see how we all did. Until then, thanks for all you guys do for liberty. And I've got a video to play us out. Peace out.